Hello and welcome to Narrowcast Boxing. It's February 20th, 2019. Let's talk about the fights. So once again, there was really only one fight from over the weekend that I was interested in, and it was Leo Santa Cruz fighting Rafael Rivera. I was expecting Santa Cruz to outclass Rivera, and that's basically what he did. Santa Cruz landed the better punches. He made Rivera miss, and Santa Cruz landed a lot of sneaky punches, while Rivera, I noticed, threw everything hard. It wasn't a bad fight. It was hard fought, but I would have liked it to have been a little bit more competitive. But that said, Santa Cruz threw nearly 1,300 punches, so it was definitely not a lack of effort on his part. All three judges had it 119 to 109, and I had it the same as well. Santa Cruz is a fighter who really needs to be matched tough in order to bring the best out of him. He's had a number of these types of performances where he's just better than the opponent and wins basically every round. This is probably more to do with the matchmaking than Santa Cruz himself. It's unfortunate as a fan when a boxer is put into this position with a guy who's good enough to not get stopped but not really good enough to win any of the rounds. Santa Cruz mentioned in the post-fight that he wants to fight Oscar Valdez, Gary Russell Jr., or Josh Warrington next, and I think that any combination of these four fighting sounds great to me, so let's hope that that happens. As for the fights this upcoming weekend, there are three which I'm interested in, but let's start with the one that's most relevant and the one that I would suggest if you were only able to catch one this weekend. And that is James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Jr. The stakes are very high for this fight for both guys. DeGale said that he will retire if he loses, which is often said but not usually something that's done. Eubank, meanwhile, is still looking to make it at world level. DeGale has fought and won at world level in recent years, while Eubank has lost when he's stepped up. I like Eubank's style more than DeGale's, but I could see this fight going either way. I wouldn't be surprised if Eubank was able to put too much pressure on DeGale and outwork him, similar to how Caleb Truax was able to. But I also wouldn't be surprised if DeGale outboxes Eubank the way that George Groves was able to. So both fighters have their weaknesses. For DeGale, I think it's the amount of punishment he's taken in recent fights, while Eubank's main weakness seems to be his ability to box at the highest level, or his lack thereof. When Eubank fought Groves, I picked Eubank to win that for similar reasons as I would pick him to beat DeGale, but I'm less confident in picking Eubank this time around. To sum it up, I think that it's pretty much an even fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if Eubank won by decision or stoppage, or if DeGale won by decision. With that said, I'm leaning very slightly towards DeGale by decision, but I'm definitely looking forward to the matchup, and I think it will be a good mix of styles. The two other fights this weekend which I'm interested in are Anthony Dirrell versus Avni Yildirim and Joyce versus Stiverne. Starting with Dirrell versus Yildirim, I'm expecting Dirrell to win. Yildirim is pretty basic in his approach and was stopped by Chris Eubank Jr. in 3 rounds. I just see Dirrell as being the better boxer who has some quality wins as of late. So I think he takes this fight, and I should mention that they'll be fighting for a vacant title at 168 pounds. Next up is Joyce versus Stiverne. Joyce is very slow and his defense is poor in my opinion, but he does apply constant pressure. He has a high work rate and good stamina, and he's been active. As for Stiverne, he's 40 years old at this point. The last time he was in the ring was against Deontay Wilder, who dropped him 3 times and knocked him out cold in 1 round, and that was 2 years ago. So I just have no confidence in Stiverne at this point. I think that there are too many strikes against him. So this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody really, but I'm picking Joyce to win, most likely by stoppage. But anyway, that's it for this week. Tell me what you think in the comments, leave a rating, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next week.